The top MSME Taxpayer Nairobi Region Award goes to the Boston Consulting Group Kenya Limited. Top Exporter. This award recognizes the exporter who handled the highest value of exports and is compliant with customs laws and procedures. This award goes to Edible Oil Products Limited. Most Improved Taxpayer category. This award recognizes the taxpayer who registered the highest growth in total tax payment relative to last financial year. This award goes to Isuzu East Africa Limited. Top Authorized Economic Operator Importer.
From the rates, parking fees, and other charges that we are owed, I'm glad that with the new attitude, the new being the ambassador, and not have to go through around our offices trying to comply on paying of fire license.
And Commander-in-Chief of Kenya's Defense Forces, distinguished taxpayers, and also including my colleagues, Moses Kuria, taxpayers themselves, but we also need the market we tax from. So, Your Excellency, I wish to express our sincere gratitude from the national preparations and activities. Our country faced a very, very difficult time of slightly over 2 years. There are unique economic circumstances.
By example, the rest of us are privileged to assist in the management of the affairs of this country. Public officials have no business standing in the way of business, being a hindrance to complete the process of public sector reforms in terms of telling our public officials of their new roles, where when you walk to an office, you cannot tell the original color of the wall because the whole wall is full of money. By respecting the taxpayer, and where there are challenges, let us continuously.
And neither can we afford to fail in implementing the public finance management agenda that we have.
That our micro and small enterprises.
The imperative of embracing technology solutions to KRA strategic issues is clear. There are only 7 million people with KRA PIN numbers. At the same time, in the same economy, Safaricom's M-Pesa has 30 million registered customers transacting billions daily. The fact that this opportunity remains unclear to KRA demonstrates why radical changes are necessary. Every Kenyan with an ID should have a PIN number, just as simple as that. Technology and a considerate, fair, and professional mobilization will do the job quite well. Safaricom, a telco, has registered more people than KRA, a powerful state organization. It is very clear that the magic lies in technology and strategy, not in power and resources. Bwana Siji, umesikia hiyo story? I'm happy you're taking notes. The agenda I have set out to recalibrate and reorient our tax administration framework signifies our appreciation of the contribution of our taxpayers who continue to embrace their patriotic share of practical nation-building efforts. We must not deny any eligible Kenyan their opportunity to take part in the noble task of affirming freedom and entrenching our sovereignty. Universal tax registration is a historic endeavor to enlist all Kenyans in the patriotic effort of reinforcing our independence by enhancing self-reliance. Tax administration must not be a barrier to investor confidence or a factor of high cost of doing business. This dramatic economic uplift will be situated in the MSME sector, which traditionally employs close to 90% of new entrants to the labor force. Our government will empower this sector through financial instruments to provide affordable and accessible financing to MSMEs. And for its part, KRA must ensure that our tax administration is fit for purpose, with a tax structure that enables MSMEs contribute to national development, even as we make them viable enterprises. There exists tremendous potential for the KRA to play a significant role as the engine of national transformation. In order to rise to this full promise, it is time for KRA to finally catch up with the digital transformation that has swept through the country, positively transforming our social, economic, and political landscape. A professional, people-friendly, customer-centric KRA should leverage technology and lighten the tax-paying burden through universal tax registration. As already indicated, we are committed to instituting comprehensive culture change at the Kenya Revenue Authority in order to make it much more supportive of taxpayers. To achieve this, it will be necessary to radically reform KRA and make it a people-friendly, customer-centric organization that facilitates taxpayer compliance as a core tax administration strategy. At the same time, it will be an explicit mandate of KRA to maximize tax collection while minimizing the compliance burden on the taxpayer. The time for extravagant rebranding exercises, diversionary and cosmetic changes is far behind us. It is now time for a radical shift in our KRA model, focusing on a robust service charter anchored on technology, which explicitly commits to transform customer relationships, simplify the taxpayer processes, and optimize existing facilities to provide efficient services. This shift must demonstrate strong commitment to the principle of impartial taxation, where the tax burden reflects ability to pay. KRA must therefore set out a strong and transparent integrity assurance mechanism embedded in an equally vigorous corruption prevention framework in order to create a stakeholder confidence in the transparency and accountability of its processes. The entire organization must evolve into a community united by transformed corporate culture based on shared values, including the principle of public finance. KRA must also reflect equity by shifting from the overtaxing of trade and undertaxing of wealth to enable the wealthy bear an appropriate burden. I have discussed these issues with the management of the Kenya Revenue Authority. I have discussed these issues with the Commissioner General. I have brought to his attention many of the practices that go on at the moment. For example, we are selling 2.9 billion stamps for accessible products, while our neighbor, Tanzania, is selling 7.2 billion stamps. Uganda is selling 9 billion stamps. Those two economies are smaller than ours. It means we should be selling between 10 billion and 12 billion stamps. But the trouble is, the government is selling 2.9 billion stamps. There are people who are selling the balance, which is approximately 7 billion stamps. And I have told the Commissioner General, he must tell these people to stop. And we have no choice. Because I do not want to fight with people, but I must stop. I want to tell the good people in KRA, good people, you must stop. Because I have given enough information to Commissioner General to sort out that mess. And I have told him if he doesn't sort out the mess, I will sort it out myself. And we should be able to collect enough money. We are determined, let me repeat, we are determined to effect decisive change in order to swiftly reverse this unsatisfactory state of affairs. The practice of citizen harassment as a means of tax administration is unacceptable. There is evidence of tremendous scope to expand our taxpayer numbers by engaging eligible and willing taxpayers. It is time to do the fair thing by supporting patriotic taxpayers who fulfill their obligations by reducing the number of free riders and enlisting more taxpayers to the national building project. A huge obstacle to the realization of our national revenue targets is that in practice, tax administration has traditionally been a repressive, menacing affair which resembles extortion. This extinguishes taxpayer incentives and diminishes the prospects of an expanded tax base, pulling Kenya backwards from its national revenue potential and denying its citizens critical services and development programs. Tax revenue mobilization is a crucial dimension of state sovereignty. The ability to finance national budgets defines true national independence. Those taxpayers who continue to perform their duty of remitting due taxes advance this agenda, thereby engaging in exemplary performance of patriotic duty. A day like this is therefore most appropriate for appreciating and indeed honoring the contribution of those outstanding individuals and corporate citizens in safeguarding, upholding, and enhancing Kenya's sovereignty. I salute you, and on behalf of a grateful nation, I celebrate all of you. Our operating philosophy in matters revenue mobilization is going to be hierarchical. This means that we shall tax wealth, consumption, income, and trade in that order. A safe, and by the way, I will lead from the front by paying my taxes. And every company associated with me will lead from the front in paying taxes. There will be no exemptions for whoever. There will be a fair tax regime where everybody is treated equally. The animal farm will not be part of the principle of paying tax. We have already taken the direction of retiring expensive, unsustainable consumption subsidies in favor of investing in production, while cutting off the fat in the national budget to eliminate wasteful and irrational expenditure to produce savings which will finance urgent critical interventions. We continue to live way beyond our means, with an unsustainable proportion of our revenues going to servicing debt. Under these circumstances, critical government services cannot be provided adequately or at all, owing to budgetary constraints. Similarly, essential projects cannot be undertaken for the same reason of unavailability of adequate resources. The implementation of our government's plan for rapid and inclusive socio-economic transformation of our country depends on a robust revenue growth rate and a well-managed budget deficit. We do not have the luxury of gambling with our destiny by living beyond our means, and neither can we afford to fail in implementing the public finance management agenda that we have.